The 827th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with a promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus.
Heidi Ho DeGenerinos, welcome to episode 827 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to a cool dude who turned 5 last week, and I neglected to dedicate an episode to him because his father didn't tip me off in advance. So this episode goes out to you, and I told your mom I would say real men ear pink donuts. So that means nothing to no one except us. It's our little secret. So this goes out to you and to everyone listening. Thank you for coming to the show. This is our no UFC, no problem week. UFC may not be running, but the road to UFC is running. They have 4 episodes this week. We'll be covering all 4 of them. We're going to throw in some LFA too. So we got your week covered. So whoever that was in the YouTube comments who was complaining about road to UFC, tough. You're getting some episodes here. So,
I love Road to the UFC. It's one of my faves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've gotten good fighters off that. That's where we got Zhang Ming Yang.
That was a question I was going to ask you. That's Daniel Gummer-Vreeland. I am Supremo Simplicio Jeff Fox. Who are some of your favorites, or who are some of the best people we have gotten off a road to UFC? I was thinking Nakamura. He's pretty good.
Yeah,
Nakamura.
Chang Ho Lee just beat the crap out of Cortavius Romeus in like a brutal way. Who is it that beat Carlos Hernandez yesterday?
Yes. That I picked right. Park.
Yeah,
peace of mind. Park.
Yep, he looked good. So we've gotten good people off of there. And even, the guy who Zhang Ming Yang beat on his episode was Tuka Tokos, who's now in the UFC. I mean, he's not great, but like he's in the UFC too. Like we keep getting some pretty decent talent out there. And I'm going to be honest, I think they did pretty good here in terms of filling out the roster this year. Both in the tournaments, like one of the tournaments, the flyweight, no surprise here, right? The flyweight tournament's the good one. But like, not only did they do a good job filling out the tournaments, but the featured bouts really outdid themselves versus last year. So like, I'm pretty pumped for the featured bouts too.
The featured bouts are pretty much people they want to give a shortcut to the UFC pretty much.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I mean, in the first episode, which we're covering today, 100% agree with you. Trying to hook somebody up who should have been in the UFC already. In the second one, we actually got a late replacement who I thought they were going to put on Contender Series or just straight up sign. So that's really interesting. Again, just like great matchmaking, great fighters. And we've historically been pretty good on Road to the UFC. It was last year or 2 years ago where I had one of the 2 days I went 9-1. So like, we've historically been pretty good on these. So make sure you it's not as good as our Invicta, as somebody pointed out to me the other day.
Yeah. Gumby killed Invicta.
Clean sweep on Invicta, including a plus 165 underdog who won by ground and pound in a women's strawweight fight, which is pretty awesome.
Of course, Gumby is skipping me going 10-1 last night on UFC proper, but
it's all Chuck though. Isn't that a bummer?
That's why that's why it is so good.
And then that one guy pulled out. Yeah, that one guy pulled out due to herpes too.
What, for real?
Yeah. Did you not know Rodolfo Belletto? I just saw it on Instagram right before we started taping. Yeah, apparently his official reason for being pulled was like he had I don't know if it was just like a cold sore, and that's like that is. That's one of the names for a cold sore. But like somebody saw it on him and wouldn't let him walk out. And fight. Wow. Yeah. Crazy.
I would have got that one right too. I went 10-1. Gumby went 6-5. I won $378. You lost $250. So I'm up $800 this year. So
yeah, there you go.
You're down $750.
But you know what? Guess what?
There's still time.
There's still time.
The only one I got wrong, Matias Camillo, he quit on us, I believe.
He did quit.
Didn't it look like? Quit. Very quick tap, like, okay, I'm done. Tap.
Yep. He didn't want to be in there anymore. And I think maybe we underestimated Gabe Green too. That guy's been in some wars. Every time, with the exception of him deciding to blitz Brian Battle and taking a nap 13 seconds in. But like outside of that, like he has just been in like fun fight after fun fight, and he's like always game as hell. So we slept. He's the barber, right? Did we not talk about that last week? Isn't Gabe Green the one who I did the interview with the guy cutting his hair?
It sounds familiar. Yes. Yes.
I think I can't
You
remember.
interview so many people, it's hard to remember now, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yeah. So a pretty fun event though, overall last night.
Yeah.
All things being said, yeah. For a car that didn't look so hot on paper, well, at least star wise, it was very entertaining to watch and profitable. We both hit our locks because we had the same locks. So, all is well.
Great. I also hit her submission prop too.
Right. Fantastic. Well, and we're gonna have some fun with our Road to UFC episodes coming up. No odds yet; they have not dropped. Yeah, but these are pretty widely available once the books do start dropping. Probably within a couple of days from hearing this, you will have some odds, and then we can discuss the odds either in our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord, Twitter, SGPN MMA, YouTube in the comments. Gummy will give you his best guesstimate today, and then when the real odds drop, then we can adjust our strategies if need be. Before we get into this, a reminder that our merch store, which would be sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, is running a promo, 20% off everything with the promo code DEGENS, DEGENS. Check out the amazing DEGENS hats and merch gear that we just dropped there. And of course, MMA Gambling Podcast has a lot of good show-specific gear in there too. So check it out. All right, we are doing episode 1. I like it that they're doing it on an off week as well.
It's good.
Busy when they cram 4 of these and then like a UFC fight night too. It's
yeah, when I saw them being booked, I was like, damn, like we really should cover all of Road to the UFC because it is damn entertaining, easy to watch, pretty exciting. And then I was like, but we really can't fit 4 episodes in a week where we're doing the UFC. And the good news, we didn't have to.
Yes. Very good. Yeah. Usually they cram it like right before or after, like the Sunday after the event. Sometimes they do it. So this is good. It is also good. We only have to wait one more week until Gumby's girl gets her first headlining experience in the UFC, but we'll talk about that at a later date. So that's why UFC's off this week, because we have to prepare for the return of Macy Barber. Yes. Road to UFC Shanghai, episode 1. You guessed it. It's taking place in Shanghai, China, at the UFC Performance Institute in Shanghai. So basically, the UFC Apex Shanghai is where this is happening. I wonder if they have if there's a Chinese version of Jamal Hill. You think that hangs out there? Who could it be though? That's the thing. Zhang Mingyang.
No, Zhang Mingyang's training in Vegas mostly, I think. Matt.
Yeah. Who isn't though? Really, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see those Apex events, it's like John. It's what's his name? John Wood. Pretty much is cornering every fighter.
Yeah. Every single time I check in on like a fighter too, who I'm like doing interviews with, he's like, "Oh, I'm training at Extreme Couture now," or I'm training at Syndicate now," and you're like,
"Yep, it's one of the
God, everybody is, for Christ's sakes." Except
or they at least finish their camps there, it seems, right? At the very least, yeah. So anyhow, this one is not there. It's in Shanghai, Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. So this is a DeGen special, if I've ever saw one. Thursday, 7 in the morning. UFC Performance Institute told you that. Shanghai, 5 fights. Of course, we're covering them all. Now, the first one, as Gumby mentioned off the top, is a showcase fight, they call it. So it's not part of their tournaments. Like I said off the top as well, usually it's a lot of times if they want to get a look at someone and they're not running an actual tournament in that weight class, then they will throw them in here and see how they do, sink or swim. So Xiaocan Feng from China is up against Arisa Matsuda. I'll read your resumes. Maybe you can guess who the UFC is trying to get into, give a shortcut into the promotion. Matsuda is 6-0 with 3 knockouts. This is her debut in any kind of UFC event. She's won 2 straight fights via TKO. That is it. Small resume, but I'm sure Gumby has seen all 6 of her fights somehow.
Not all
Feng,
6, but many of them.
but some. Feng is 10-3, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. She's been knocked out once, submitted once. She went 0-2 and Road to UFC. 0-1 in the UFC proper, meaning she lost in the finals of the Road to UFC. She's won 8 of 9. TKO loss in her last bout, which would have been the final of the championship fight that she lost. Multiple regional championships on her.
Mantle.
Correct. Get her merch, get her gear, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember, DEGENS, 20% off with that code. Use fight up at 125, 0-1 in pro kickboxing. 4 inches height, an inch of reach over Matsuda, 7 years younger. She would be the one the UFC wants to give another shot at, right?
Good guess. I thought you said 0. Did you say 0-2 in Road to the UFC? It should be 2-0, right?
No, 2-0 on the road to UFC. 0-1 in the UFC because they're counting that one fight.
And she's the one who dominated that fight straight up for a long time and then got weirdly head kicked by the tiny doctor. You remember when that happened?
The doctor, yes.
Yeah, and so like
parents don't know that she's a fighter, right?
Yeah. She's like, I'd appreciate you not telling my mom about this. But yeah, Xiaocan Feng, like I think the UFC knows after having watched that fight, they know what they got. Like she's really good. She got caught. She was clearly up 2018 on everybody's scorecards when that kick lands. She's long, she's powerful. I'm looking back at both of her fights with Miki Montono, and I am a big fan of Miki Montono, particularly her wrestling. And look, she caught her in a submission one time. She flipped the position on Montono the other times. Like, she just looks really good in pretty much all aspects. I like her grappling. I like her hands. She prefers to stand and trade, and she uses her range really well. She gets in and out. The only time she didn't use her range well, she got head kicked by a 5'1" chick. And it didn't work out for her. And then on the other hand, Matsuda, I went back and watched her fights. She has fought an extremely low level of competition. I want to point so she's 6-0. I want to point your attention to her second to last win, where she beat a fighter known as Madonna the Rocket. I'm not kidding you. 0-0 fighter who is still only had the one pro fight, and it was against Matsuda, named Madonna the Rocket.
Amazing.
Which is just
wow.
great. But the thing about Matsuda is even when she's beating up bad opponents, you can sort of tell she doesn't have a really great sense of range. She doesn't understand how close she is or how far she is, and she doesn't really know how to establish it. She's got good hands for the most part when she is in the correct range, but she's got really poor takedown defense. She winds up on her back. She doesn't dig underhooks the way you would kind of want her to in order to defend. So I think Feng, being so good at establishing range, going to pick her apart. And then even if Matsuda gets really close and tries to mix it up inside, I think Feng can hit a takedown and just kind of dominate her with some ground and pound elbows. So yeah, Xiaocan Feng. My guess is -275 on this one. Because I think Feng's really good. I'm really curious though, because so I've been talking to some people about where the lines are going to be set. A lot of them have said losing on road to the UFC is going to be almost like a punishment. Like their lines are going to be down, where when you're on Dana White's Contender Series, in the past, we've been oh, that bumps their lineup because we've seen them and their name is recognizable. It almost seems like they believe the opposite. Now, whether or not that's true, who knows? But that could pull Feng down even a little bit more. But I think she should cruise in this one easy.
Madonna the Rocket is a real person. I see a picture of her. I guess she could be AI for what, but she appears to be a real person. I've found nothing else other than her being 0-1 in the UFC. Back to this fight, 41% are in on Feng on Tapology. So
that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Now, to me, there's no way a book looks at these two fighters and doesn't install her as the favorite. So, I think Tapology's slipping on this one. Sees a 6-0 prospect, and they're I must really like her. Feng is so much better.
Yep. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, very shortly, and then we can chat offline, or actually online, off air, about this. All right. Before we dive into more winning picks, it's time to tell you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved, no usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, and 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with our promo code SGPN. And if you deposit $25, Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And it's time for Gumby's bonus underdog. Pick 'em up, play underdog. Is going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus, hopping game 1. And the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. No spoilers for today's game. I have only made it to halftime, Gumby. With that being said, what's your play? I guess there's no basketball for a while anyway.
I'll stick with baseball then. And I hate tooting the horn of the New York Mets, but Monday the New York Mets take on the Boston Red Sox. Kodai Senga back in the rotation, absolutely throwing cheddar lately. The Ghost Fork's on. I'm going to take the higher than on Kodai Senga's strikeouts.
Throwing cheddar is a good thing.
Yeah, you don't know throwing ched?
No, I'm not a baseball player. Well, I was, but it was 4 years ago.
Throwing ched means very, very fast.
All right, throwing cheddar. Obviously. Okay, take Gumby's pick, and then you throw some cheddar over to underdogfantasy.com. Doesn't make sense, but we'll go with it. Use our promo code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. Underdogfantasy.com or promo code MMASGPN. This is going to be another episode with multiple alt titles. Madonna. I'll see if I can work throwing ched into a breakdown later. Throwing ched, amazing. All right, we started off easy with the names too. I think they're progressively going to get a little bit more difficult because if it was all Japanese fighters, it'd be piece of cake. But we got some other countries and names. I guess Chinese names I'm okay with as well. But Wataru Yamauchi, I can say that he is from Japan. Namsrai Batbayar, right? Batbayar. He is from Mongolia. These guys, this is one of the tournament fights. So opening round, they fight twice, and then they're in the championship, right?
Correct. Yep. It's an 8-person.
So this would be, so this would be the quarterfinals, you could say, or opening round. They're fighting at 125, which Gummy says is the best weight class in the tournament. I am his co-host that likes the 125s, not his other co-host that hates flyweights for some reason.
I can't believe he doesn't like it.
I know, so weird. You should get rid of that guy just because of that. That's enough reason right there for dismissal. Let's break her down with tell you about Batbayar. He's 7-1, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once. That means he owes his rounds. This is his debut. I didn't write it down, but I believe this is his debut. I don't think he's fought in the UFC or road to UFC. Yep, he's won 3 straight. He's last lost November 2022. He's a year younger than Yamauchi. Yamauchi is 7-1 as well. 2 knockouts, 1 submission. So he is not a finisher like Batbayar. He's been knocked out once. This is his debut. He won his last bout. That's all I got for both these guys.
So this is maybe the most fun fight on any of the 4 episodes of Road to the UFC. We're 2 fights in, and this one is the most hotly contested, in my opinion. I'm going to say a pick 'em. I had so much trouble picking a winner in this one. I'll go ahead and say, like, if anybody comes in here as a big favorite, bet the other one, because it's like, it is so close that this is like a coin flip fight to me. Ultimately, I sided on Wataru Yamauchi. The big reason is like, he's such a good power puncher, and I know he doesn't have the knockouts to show for it, but he throws really compact. His hands are low, which is somewhat risky, I think, when he fights a striker. Like, his lone loss is Joe Arai, who I'm a big fan of. I think Joe Arai is a damn good fighter. And, you know, he got tagged by Joe Arai as he was threatening him because his hands are low and he doesn't protect his face particularly well. But he throws mean shots to the body. Everything's compact. Everything's hard. He's really fast. Now, he's fighting Batbayar, who is almost the exact opposite. I've seen fights where it doesn't look like Batbayar throws a strike on the feet. He's just trying to get to the hips, take you down, take your back, choke you out. Like, that's his style. He's not trying to mix anything up on the feet. But the reason why, you know, and to be fair, I'm saying I haven't seen Batbayar strike very much. I haven't seen Yamauchi defend very many takedowns. So, like, this is why it's like such a closely contested fight. Like, I don't know who's going to get their way here, but I'm going to go with Yamauchi for 2 reasons. Number one is that, like, they start on the feet, right? Like, that's a big piece of this. So, like, I'm going to, you know, go with the striker a little bit here. And then the other piece too is that, like, Yamauchi's low hands should play into defending those takedowns, right? Like, he should be there for underhooks already to stuff Batbayar. So I like Yamauchi's ability to, like, you know, probably dig in and then just like light him up on the feet. So I'm gonna go Yamauchi. But again, this is like as tentative as I could be on picking a winner in this one.
62% in on 66% in on Yamauchi.
That's just because he's got knockouts.
Yeah, there you go. Knockouts. Punch hard. Supremo Simplicio breakdown. He punch hard. Pick him.
Exactly.
Keiichiro Nakamura from Japan. Yo Jin Park from South Korea. They are fighting in the opening round of the 145 pounds, so featherweight tournament. 3 5-minute rounds. To tell you about Park first, he's young boss. 9-1-1. 9-1-1 is no joke. Is his record. 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's never been finished himself. This is his debut in the UFC, road to UFC. He's won 6 straight and got 8-0-1 over his last 9. He's not lost a fight. His only loss was back in November 2021. He's fought at 155 and 170. He's 3 years younger than Nakamura. Nakamura is 5-1 with 5 knockouts. He's been submitted once. He owes his rounds. This is his debut as well. He's won 5 straight. So he lost his debut, which was April 2022. He's got an inch of height over Park.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Jin Park. I'm going to say like -250 favorite. I don't actually think this one's going to be lined all that close. I'm wearing my Korean baseball hat today for a reason. Shout out Jong and all of the Korean fighters we're going to talk about over the next 3 days. Jin Park, to me, I just think, first of all, he's really safe on the feet when it comes to defensive striking, which is good because Nakamura, heavy hands, combinations that he pretty much punctuates all the time with a straight left. He's dropped a lot of people. The problem is that Nakamura has not fought very many people who are of high level of competition, right? So now that he's fighting Park, who is smart defensively, I think he's going to throw those same combinations and just like start missing because Park's just going to move out of the way of them. Park's got great body lock takedowns, excellent control on the ground, a good positional, even submission jiu-jitsu, good jiu-jitsu all around. And we've seen Nakamura get subbed. So like, you got a power puncher in there against a guy who's smart, stays out of the range of power punchers, and is good at getting to your hips. I'm going to take Jin Park.
All right, Jin Park, lock it in. I think he's like 96%. I saw on Topology. So,
so maybe next 300, 350.
Yeah, maybe. We shall see. We shall see. All right, before we get to the last two fights of this year fight card, let me tell you about Rhythm, RITHMM. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and just launched the WNBA. Rhythm knows you'll love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Check out all the lines there. Al Horford is gone, Gumby.
No more Al Horford plays, man.
Can't say any. No more Al Horford. RIP Al Horford. Caitlin Clark plays. You can check now.
What about Donovan DiVincenzo?
Dante. How about Dante?
Or Dante DiVincenzo. Yeah, Donovan. No.
Does he have a brother? I don't know. Dante DiVincenzo lines. They also have some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off monthly subscription with their promo code SGPN25 and 50% off annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. So that's RTHMM. Promo codes SGPN25 or SGPN50. And remember, you can get your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. And this is another thing you don't want to forget about. Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football Giveaway. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas. Be treated like VIPs for their stay. The winner will receive a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for their entire 12-person league. That includes 6 Double King rooms. They hold the draft at a cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit. Limo transportation to and from the airport. A welcome party at Legacy Club for the league. A reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with $500 beverage credit for the league. A 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. The contest is on now until the end of June the 30th. And to enter, you got to head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That would be sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And finally, we are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. For the true degens, the MyBookie money bag. Check that one out there. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out the Dante DiVincenzo's prop lines there, not Donovan. Head to MyBookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. For 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. That would be another good title, Donovan DiVincenzo. So many options today. When it rains, it pours. We're to our co-main event. They're not calling it that, but that's what it is. It is at 125 as well. So we're doing the other half, and I guess not the other half. They're doing 4.
We'll hit the other
one of the other halves. The other bracket part of the 125s. Xiao Yin from China. Kai Yoshida from Japan, 3 500 rounds, 125. Yoshida is 6-1 with 3 knockouts. He's been submitted once. This is his debut in the UFC promotion. He lost his last bout via submission. He used to fight at 135, 2 inches height, 3 inches reach, 2 years younger than Yin. Yin, 17-5, 4 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been knocked out once. 0-1 in the road to UFC. 1-2 over his last 3, 10-2 over his last 12. That sounds much better. A submission win in his last bout. Used to fight up at 135. And that's all I got.
So I think Yoshida is going to be a slight favorite. Maybe like negative 120, negative 130, like plus 110 or even money on Yin. And I'm going to go Yin. The thing about Yin that makes him kind of look ugly at times is he has a little bit of trouble finding range. He doesn't close the distance really well. Doesn't really figure out where he's hitting people yet. And, Yoshida is going to be hard to deal with on the feet for that reason, because he's like a point taekwondo style guy. Like it looks like Shauna Bannon out there a little bit. It doesn't
Mama
look like
B.
He's a little bit like the Japanese Mama B.
There's another good title. Damn it.
Japanese Mama B. And there's nothing wrong with that style, but the bigger problem is that when he starts to frustrate Yin, I think Yin will get the takedown. And Yin's not got outstanding takedowns. They're like good enough. He doesn't really change between the single and the double well. Sometimes he grabs a single, sometimes he grabs a double. They're both all right in their own range. But like Yoshida's takedown defense is kind of terrible. He has the takedown defense of a guy who's been training a lot of taekwondo, and maybe not training so much, wrestling or jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever. So I think Yin's going to find those. And then once it's on the ground, I actually really like Yin. I was talking before about how like he's got some problems on the feet. on the ground, he is really sharp. Like, I like his positional jiu-jitsu, the way he holds people down. It's really hard to get up when he's on top of you. And then in addition to that, too, his ground and pound is really vicious. Like, he'll get to the half guard and drop elbows. And they're like, split you open kind of elbows. So, yeah, I really like Shuai Yin as long as that fight gets to the ground, and especially if he comes in as a dog here.
All right. Yin is the pick. You said about 1 plus 110, I think.
Yeah, right? I said like barely in the plot. Like, this should be pretty close to a pick 'em line, too.
Let's see what the topologists say. They say Yin 45%. So, yep, you're right. Right in there.
Yeah, right around even.
Yep. All right. Main event. Not really. The last fight on the card is another featherweight tournament bout. Baergeng Jieleyisi. Go, Gumby, go.
Jieleyisi.
You said it Italian. Szalay. Sebastian Szalay.
No, it's
Jieleyisi.
Jieleyisi.
It's ISI at the end.
Yeah, I have a pronunciation guide over here. Hang on, let me look at it so I look less bad. Jieleyisi.
Jieleyisi? Well, why?
That's the way the Road to the UFC people said it last time.
Learn how to spell.
I knew we've botched this one 7 times, so I actually wrote myself a pronunciation guide. It's Jieleyisi.
Yeah, Jieleyisi versus Sebastian Szalay. China versus Australia. Or is it New Zealand? No, it's Australia. 3 5 rounds, 145. Szalay. 8-1, 1 knockout, 1 submission. He's never been finished. He also finishes. This is his debut in the UFC, Road to UFC. He's won 7 straight. He's not lost since February 2021. His only career loss. Regional champ. He's fight at 155. Jieleyisi. I already forgot what it is. Jieleyisi. 19-6. 5 knockouts, 9 submissions. Been knocked out 1, submitted twice. 2-1 on the road to UFC. He's stepping here on short notice. You know how short notice it was?
I don't. I didn't even know
it is short notice though. Yeah, someone else is supposed to fight here, so I believe it's not a full camp for him. 0-1 in the UFC. He lost in the championship. 4-1 over his last 5. He did lose his last bout. Used to fight at 135. 2 inches height, 5 inches of reach over. I can't say anything anymore. Szalay. 1 year younger. Gumby, you take over. You're less of a train wreck.
I think Szalay is going to come in here as a pretty big favorite. The short notice piece, Jieleyisi having recently lost a fight. Like, he lost to Jiu-Jitsu, right, in the finals. Was that who he lost to?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Jiu-Jitsu that beat him. And it was down at bantamweight. I know that for sure, which now that you're saying that Jieleyisi...
Su Young Yu.
Yeah,
Su Young Yu
lost it. Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu. And so, like, I know... He was a bantamweight, so like that's another reason why I think he might come in here as an underdog. So I'm gonna say like plus 155 on Jieleyisi, and I'm gonna pick him in this one, despite moving up in weight class, despite possibly being on short notice here. Szalay is like a good striker, and he can be really elusive when he wants to. But my biggest problem with him is like he lands a good punch, and he's like, "Sick, let's brawl." And like on one hand, it's worked for him in the past, so like I can't knock it. But like, also, I think if he tries to do that against Jieleyisi, I think he is just going to find himself on his back. Because Jieleyisi isn't going to brawl with you. Like, once you start throwing wild, he's going to duck under one of those hooks. He's going to be in on your hips, and he's going to beat you up there. And the other thing I really like about Jieleyisi is he sets up his takedowns really well. He will rip your leg like 4 or 5 times just to get you to like switch stances, and then he'll grab the other leg where you're like less apt to defend the takedown. He does really good at using the leg kicks to set things up. So, I think Szalay might have some success on the feet. But like as soon as he tags him, I think everything goes away for him. He starts brawling. And like I said, I'll be surprised if he doesn't get grounded pretty badly here. So giving Jieleyisi would be a huge bonus if he winds up being an underdog.
All right. Let's give you a recap. No lightning round because we covered it all. Jieleyisi, he has got, I did it all right. Yin, Park, Yamauchi, and Feng. Who are you most excited about here? Can you pick one from these people that you think has the brightest future?
I would say the brightest future perhaps is the winner of Yamauchi Batbayar. They're both a little on the one-dimensional side, so I'm not 100% sure, but that's a fun as hell fight. Shuai Yin too. Like, I like Shuai Yin. I picked him to win. I really like his ground and pound, his positional jiu-jitsu. If he figures out a little bit more of his striking, he'll be deadly too.
All right, you're set. We'll be back very soon tomorrow, as a matter of fact, to get you the second edition of the Road to UFC. In the meantime, Discord at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. YouTube, of course, you can hit us up in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. That would help us out. Please and thanks. That would be MMA Gambling Podcast. The Twitter machine, SGPN MMA. He's at Gummy Reeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram as well. Check out my Substack. That would be moneymma.substack.com. Check out Gummy's other podcast, the Top Total MMA podcast, with a co-host that hates flyweights. Who is on it this week, Gummy?
There will be fighters on it this week.
Okay, there always is.
There's
always fighters, and they're good ones.
I'm working really hard on closing in a couple of interviews. So by the time you hear this, maybe I'll have answers.
All right. So check out Top Total regardless. And of course, you can check us out at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember your code DEGENS, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content. And when you do sign up for Underdog Fantasy and mybookie.ag, our code MMASGPN. We're back tomorrow with more Road to the UFC. It will be Young Boss, Jeff Fox. There's no other nicknames for you. What should your nickname be, Gumby? Pink Donut, Gumby Vreeland. No, Donovan Vreeland. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.